the biggest needs that many Bears fans see that need for this team is another edge on this team. Now, I think the defensive line needs an overhaul overall, but it will go a long way to get another big-time edge there out on the opposite side of Montez Sweat. Montez, who had 10 sacks himself last season, if you can add another defensive end that can get another 10 sacks or even more, that goes a long way in helping the Chicago Bears have that type of defense, because I do think the secondary is going to be in a much better place next season if they have relative health, right? And I think that's a big thing with that one. So there's a number of edges that we've talked about a lot this season. We've, of course, talked about Maxx Crosby, who's a favorite by a lot of Chicago Bears fans. I love him too. He's going to be more difficult to get. And that contract is absolutely huge. So not only would you be losing on future capital, you'd also have to give up reportedly 2 first-round picks to potentially get him in there for the Chicago Bears. And that's just such a large target to give up for the Chicago Bears. A lot of assets and money to give up in regards to that. And one of the other names that's been mentioned a lot in regards to being an edge is Trey Hendrickson, the current edge with the Cincinnati Bengals. And Greg Allman of Fox Sports talked about that and actually talked about Chicago being a destination for Trey Hendrickson, saying this: Hendrickson doesn't have the luster he had a year ago. Instead of coming off back-to-back 17 and a half sack seasons and 4 straight Pro Bowls, he's now coming off core muscle surgery in December that limited him to 4 sacks in 7 games in 2025. He got 1-year, $29 million deal from Bengals last season, but isn't likely to draw as much this time around. ESPN has him as the league's #1 overall free agent, but will he get more than 1 year guaranteed and much more than $20 million a year? He needs 19 sacks to reach 100 for his career and could easily get that in 2 more healthy seasons. So, Trey Hendrickson, right? What's the cost? What's the cost that's going to be there to get him? And it's a little bit different with Trey Hendrickson, because even if you were to pay him, for example, the same money as Maxx Crosby, which coming off that surgery that he's had, he's probably not going to get that level of money. But even if that was what you were going to have to give up for him, you're not giving up draft picks to get there. And there are a lot of Bears fans that have looked at what that could mean as far as the Bears maintaining their draft assets, which I think is important. If you can maintain draft assets even while having to go after a big time salary, that goes a long way in just helping your books, future proofing your books. And Caleb Williams' contract extension is right around the corner, I should say. And so that's something that you also have to consider in this one. So potentially getting Trey Hendrickson in free agency would be a huge get for the Chicago Bears. And while, he's coming off a major surgery, he's coming off a season where he had 11 solo tackles, 4 of those being sacks. That happened in 7 games.